National Rifle Association and Its Influence, by Aubrey Larner. The NRA was founded on November 17, 1871, New York City, New York. The purpose of the NRA 1. To protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, especially with reference to the inalienable right of the individual American citizen guaranteed by such Constitution to acquire, possess, collect, exhibit, transport, carry, transfer ownership of, and enjoy the right to use arms, in order that the people may always be in a position to exercise their legitimate individual rights of self-preservation and defense of family, person, and property, as well as to serve effectively in the appropriate militia for the common defense of the Republic and the individual liberty of its citizens. The purpose of the NR continued. 2. To promote public safety, law and order, and the national defense. The purpose of the NR continued. 3. To train members of law enforcement agencies, the armed forces, the militia, and people of good repute in marksmanship and in the safe handling and efficient use of small arms. The purpose of the NR continued. 4. To foster and promote the shooting sports, including the advancement of amateur competitions in marksmanship at the local, state, regional, national, and international levels. The purpose of the NR continued. 5. To promote hunter safety, and to promote and defend hunting as a shooting sport, and as a viable and necessary method of fostering the propagation, growth and conservation, and wise use of our renewable wildlife resources. Civil War General Ambrose Burnside, the former governor of Rhode Island and a U.S. Senator, was the NRA's first president. Wayne Robert Lapierre, Jr. is the current CEO and Vice President of the NRA. An NRA membership costs $35 per year. Discounts are provided for juniors, disabled veterans, and seniors. A life membership is $1,000. The NRA has about 5 million members, while about 90 million people own guns in the U.S., so that means about 85 million people are free riders. Free riders are people who enjoy benefits of interest groups without paying into it. Often interest groups try to get a court case ruled in their favor, so they submit amicus curiae briefs, which is a Latin term that means friend of the court. Interest groups volunteer to offer information to assist a court in deciding a case they're dealing with. The NRA submitted an amicus curiae brief in the case D.C. versus Heller. This brief supported a lower federal appeals court decision that said the Second Amendment protects an individual right to keep and bear arms. The brief suggested that the D.C. bans on handguns, carrying firearms within the home, and on possession of loaded or operable firearms for self-defense is illegal, violates the Second Amendment. The NRA submitted an amicus curiae brief in the case Beard versus United States. The Supreme Court of the United States ruled that a person who is attacked is entitled to stand his ground and meet any attack made upon him with a deadly weapon. In Moseby vs. Devine, the NRA submitted a brief, and the outcome was that if there was an intrusion of one's home, they can defend themselves. The NRA used its influence in Florida to get legislation passed that outlawed doctors from asking patients if they owned a gun or not. The NRA has spent 10 times more money to lobby Congress than pro-regulation groups. In 2012, 271 candidates received donations from the NRA. In total, it was about $700,000. In 2013, the National Rifle Association spent $3,410,000 on lobbying, while in 2014, the NRA spent $3,360,000 on lobbying. These are the amounts the NRA has spent on some candidates. Some were elected, and some were not. The Institute for Legislative Action, (ILA), is the lobbying organization for the NRA, and it's in charge of the association's Political Action Committee, PAC. Political action committees are organizations that raise money and give it to candidates. These are my works cited.